Who was the first Prime Minister of Canada? The answer is C. John A. Macdonald. Who was the first Prime Minister of India? The answer is C. Jawaharlal Nehru. Who was the first Prime Minister of the UK? The answer is C. Robert Walpole. Who was the first President of the United States? The answer is B. George Washington. Who was the first Prime Minister of Australia? The answer is B. Edmund Barton. Who was the first President of France? The answer is D. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte. Who was the first Chancellor of West Germany? The answer is a Konrad Adenauer. Who was the first Prime Minister of Japan? The answer is C. Hirobumi. Who was the first Chairman of the People's Republic of China? The answer is D. Mao Zedong. Who was the first President of Russia post-Soviet? The answer is a Boris Yeltsin. Who was the first President of South Africa? The answer is a Nelson Mandela. Who was the first President of Brazil? The answer is D. Deodoro da Fonseca. Who was the first President of Mexico? The answer is D. Guadalupe Victoria. Who was the first President of Argentina? The answer is C. Bernardino Rivadavia. Who was the first Prime Minister of Italy? The answer is B. Alcide de Gasperi. Who was the first President of Egypt? The answer is C. Muhammad Naguib. Who was the first President of Turkey? The answer is B. Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. Who was the first Prime Minister of Pakistan? The answer is C. Liaquat who was the first Prime Minister of Israel. The answer is a David Ben-Gurion, who was the first king of Saudi Arabia. The answer is C. King Abdulaziz. The answer is a Mohammad Mossadegh, who was the first president of South Korea. The answer is a Syngman Rhee, who was the first supreme leader of North Korea. The answer is B. Kim Il-sung, who was the first president of Vietnam. The answer is H. Kai-min, who was the first Prime Minister of Thailand. The answer is Apridi Banimyong, who was the first president of Nigeria. The answer is B. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was the first president of Kenya. The answer is B. Jomo Kenyatta, who was the first president of Ghana. The answer is Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of Tanzania. The answer is Julius Nyerere, who was the first president of Uganda. The answer is C. Milton Obote, who was the first president of Indonesia. The answer is Sukarno, who was the first Prime Minister of Malaysia. The answer is C. Tunku Abdul Rahman, who was the first president of the Philippines. The answer is D. Emilio Aguinaldo, who was the first Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. The answer is B. D.S. Senanayake, who was the first Prime Minister of Myanmar Burma. The answer is U Nu, who was the first president of Bangladesh. The answer is a Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Who was the first president of Afghanistan? The answer is a Mohammed Daoud Khan. Who was the first Prime Minister of Iraq? The answer is D. Jafar al-Askari. Who was the first president of Lebanon? The answer is Abekra al-Khoury. Who was the first president of Zimbabwe? The answer is C. Canaan Banana.